Hello everybody and welcome to another video game review. Today I will be taking a look at the game A Plague Tale: Innocence. And Innocence is an apt title for this. It comes into play from the start of the game till the end, but I will get into that later. First off, I would really like to talk about the graphics. They are amazing. Everything looks good, it looks smooth. But you can't probably see that from the gameplay footage in the background because my PC doesn't really run newer games on medium or higher settings. So what you see from the gameplay trailer, that's what you get. I put it once to high just to see. It ran on like 2 frames per second or frames per minute actually, but it looked really well. And the animations are amazing, even though it glitches sometimes between the main characters, but they have to constantly be together. And everyone knows that it's really hard to animate two different characters being in contact. That's why you don't see many characters kissing or handing stuff to each other in video games. But otherwise, it looks really well. The lighting is good, and it contributes a lot to the atmosphere. So that's amazing. The game is set in the 14th century in France, and since I don't speak French, I might mispronounce some names. So, it stars the main character, Amisa? I'm not really sure, and her brother Hugo. They are kids that have been thrust into the situation where they have to fight for their lives, but it's not really fighting, since they aren't really powerhouses. They generally have to sneak around and solve puzzles. So this game is a sneaky affair, but quite a bit of puzzling in there too, which is actually one of the only things that I'm not really a fan of in this game. It's just too repetitive. There are 2 types of enemies, at least. The Inquisition, which you meet at the start, and I'm going to put this here just because of that.
Inquisition.
Yes, exactly. And the other enemies are the rats. The Inquisition, you can't do anything about them. You gotta use the old stealth mechanics like dragging their attentions away from you, sneaking behind them, tall grass, just like in Assassin's Creed. Or sometimes you get to fight enemies at the start, like there's one boss that you have to avoid and then dismantle his armor with just a slingshot, and it's really well done and it's really good, and I love the characters' reactions to whatever they do. They seem so lifelike, and I always have a soft spot for kids in video games or movies. When I see them, it's instant connection for me. Like I always feel sad for them if something bad happens to a kid. It's like to an animal. Like we don't really care what happens in John Wick, but his dog died, so you understand. So basically, I have already been invested in this game from the start because they are kids. And the second enemy, besides the Inquisition, are the rats. They are really small, but they are fast and there's a lot of them. And they have only one weakness, fire. They avoid all the light and they don't come out during the day, which made the game a bit predictable for me. When it's day, I know that there will be no rats. And I know that it's gonna be an Inquisition part, so you're just gonna avoid and do stealth. But as soon as it gets dark, the rats come out, and then that is when the game becomes actually really scary. It's just, I'm not really sure that's what happened in the 14th century with rats. They didn't really pour out in geysers and make weird underground caves, and there is talk about something going on with the blood of the main characters. I'm not gonna go more into it so I don't spoil it, but there are these parts that seem supernatural. That takes me a bit out of the game, but otherwise it's really good. It's really atmospheric. The sounds are amazing. The voice acting is good. The sounds when characters run around, the animals, the mice, it's really crazy. It's really awesome. So that has to be commended. I'm going to look up later who composed the music for this game, and the game music is gonna be in the background for the whole video so you can enjoy it. Otherwise, this game is, I don't know, it's 45 euros, I think. It is 45 euros, and that is amazing. For less than a full game price, you get a full game. There are no DLCs except a costume pack, which costs only €1.5, which is nothing. For instance, in Fallout 76, you can't even get, I don't know, a costume for like 3 times that much money. And the game is whole. It is a bit short, but again, it costs €45, so that's nothing for a full, completed, finished game. When you start it, from the beginning to the end, you know what you're going to get. And what you are going to get is an amazing story, great music, good characters. They all have these, not all of them, but the main characters have this really good character arc, and it really pays off towards the end. It's really good. Be prepared for the feels, and I would recommend it to everybody, unless you're really squeamish. So if the rats could be a bit of a problem for some players, if you are really, really afraid of that kind of stuff. And the supernatural part of it, I'm not really a fan of that, but still, I'd still recommend it to everybody. So, to end this video, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like or subscribe if you want to see more of my reviews. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Goodbye.